Hello, everyone. Welcome to Phillies Unfiltered. It has been a little bit, and we're excited to be back with you this week. Jim, how are you doing? More specifically, how are you feeling?
I'm doing okay, feeling good now. So that's all that matters. A little
Good.
rundown, we'll just say. But hey, we had some baseball over the last couple weeks. Some exciting
Did.
moments, some not so exciting, but mostly exciting. Division champs. How
Yeah,
about it?
yeah. Division champs, playoffs were clinched, all that. It was a great couple of weeks with, like you said, a few exceptions mixed in there. But overall, pretty happy with where this team's at right now, all in all. So,
Agreed.
um, I was going to ask you real quick, and this was kind of going back to last week. We talked earlier in the year about the Phillies broadcasters. I think we talked
Mhm.
about our rankings of them and that sort of thing. Um, and last Sunday, they had Cole in the booth, and so it got me to thinking. One, I guess I'm curious to hear your take. How do you think he's doing this year? Obviously, he's had limited opportunities. It's a handful of opportunities he's had to broadcast. But what do you think about how he's doing in his first season?
Anything's better than Ruben.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, no, but I'm okay with how he's been. He's still getting comfortable, from what I can tell, and I mean,
Yeah,
we could use
sure.
a little bit more energy from him, if anything, like the type of energy of that J Roll brought. But that's not who Cole is,
Right.
at least from our experience with him as when he was a player and interviewing as a player. But he's very knowledgeable. Like he
Hmm.
when it comes to pitching, he knows his stuff, like literally and figuratively. So
Yeah.
he he's good. He's not out of this world brilliant. He's not nails on a chalkboard. He's good. I'll give him that. What do you think?
Yeah. He's better than Schmidt. Schmidt is, and I was talking to my dad last week, and it kind of came up. And my dad's not a big baseball fan, like big sports guy, but he knows players, especially the older players, from like the '70s and '80s, because that's when he was kind of coming of age and everything.
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah. Every time I hear Mike Schmidt, he's always talking about his playing in the '70s and '80s. I'm like, exactly. I mean, it's like he doesn't have anything to say about the game
Well,
currently. It's
right. The game's a
not
lot
just the
different
game
too.
generally in a current sense, but like the specific game he's broadcasting. There's just nothing that he really
Yeah.
brings to the table. It's always stories about playing with Pete Rose and Larry Bowa and all these guys, which okay, great, but half of your people listening weren't even alive when those guys were playing, and the half that were are probably like, okay, yeah, that was fun, but it's 40, 50 years later now. Can we move on?
Right.
Um,
It's been a while.
so so yeah, I mean, but as far as Cole, I agree. I think he's still finding his footing in the booth, but I think he is knowledgeable and he has really good, I think, insights, like you mentioned too, particularly when it comes to pitching. I think he really is a good uh, sense of because he played the game and that was his role was as a pitcher, but he really is good at giving the listener or the viewer insights into what guys are throwing and why they're throwing it in certain counts, and that's interesting. I think, at least for me as a baseball nerd, I like to hear that kind of stuff, and I think it helps
Right.
to teach people who are trying to learn the game more about. Like my wife is really trying to like learn the game more and more each season, and it's such a nuanced game, and something like that can really help. But yeah, Ruben, we had to listen to him the last two series here on the road. He just first of all, he sounds unintelligent when he talks sometimes, and that sounds mean probably, but I feel he tries too hard to be smart, and it comes across as trying too hard. Like he uses words that don't make sense in certain instances, stuff like that, and it's like, dude, just stop trying so
So
hard.
when
Like,
when I was it, I think it was last Sunday. It was Fransky, Cole, and I might who was Kruk with
Crocker was
there.
there. Yeah, Crocker was there.
I
Yeah.
think I think Ashley was saying this broadcast is so boring. See, I love Scott Fransky. Yeah, on the radio. He is fantastic. Um, Not so much on TV. I guess it doesn't come through as the same.
Yeah, it's a
But
different cadence.
they
Yeah,
don't
it's a
have they don't
different
have that
cadence.
dynamic. They don't have that
Yeah,
dynamic. Tom and Crucker are like their top tier guys as a combo.
right.
But
Yeah.
then on the road you get you get Ruben, and the Phillies just don't play well for some reason when Ruben is in the booth in general, as we saw this past series against the Diamondbacks. But yeah, I have a really hard time listening to him.
Yeah, no, Ruben's pretty rough. I think Cole will continue to find his footing, and I think we disagreed on this, but I've have come to appreciate Ben Davis in the booth. I think he's
too much repeat for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's similar to Cole as a good analyst. Like he analyzes different aspects of the game, but I think I will give Cole credit. I think Cole gives newer thing. Like yes, I think I will agree. Ben does kind of hit on some of the same points sometimes. Cole seemed to be kind of exploring new aspects of the game or whatever the pitcher he was talking about. He was good with that. Ben is probably better with the timing though because he's been doing it longer.
I'd like to see Ricky Bowe take a chance here.
I feel like Ricky Bowe would be too animated during the broadcast. I like his takes after the game because at that point you're unwinding and you're just kind of. But I think he might be a little too much during the broadcast. yeah. But yeah. But J-Roll, I think I would have loved to see him get more of a gig in there because I think he was a natural at it when I heard him doing it. Just a real quick side note before we move into the full thing. They had the TBS broadcast the other night. I forget, it was after one of the LA games, and it was him and Pedro and I forget who else, a couple other guys. I think Jeff Francoeur was on there too. So a lot of former Phillies, right. But it was TBS, it was national, right? And they were talking, and they're talking about the Phillies and their chances in the playoffs and all the things that they need to do or are doing well, whatever. And they're saying they are doing this, they are doing that, and Jimmy did it a few times. Then they got to a point, and Jimmy's like, "I think we've got a good squad," and he like got caught, kind of, like saying we because he's supposed to be objective, and they all call them out on it, and then he goes, "Listen, guys." I'm on the wall of fame there, all right? Like, we know where I stand. Like, I love that. It's like, you're not even going to pretend. Like, why bother, man? Yeah, I mean, they don't want him to be, but yeah. So, anyway, let's move into the recap of everything. It's been two weeks of, as we said, pretty good baseball. I mean, let's go back to the beginning of all this, right? We swept the Mets in a 4-game set at home, which was huge. That pretty much put a nail in the coffin of the Mets for the division, and it seems to have sent them spiraling out of the playoff picture.
They're
essentially
on a bad track right now.
The Mets be Mitten.
And I love it. It is my favorite thing outside of the Phillies winning is the Mets betting.
Yes.
I mean, they're tied for the last spot now.
The Reds tied them today.
Which is awesome. Yes. I love that. Good for the Reds. Good job, Terry Francona, turning that team to winners at this point. Well, they don't scare me. The Mets at this point don't scare me, but I prefer not to go to Citi Field where who knows what they do there. Yeah, it was that the series against the Mets was amazing.
It was. We were doing everything right. The pitchers looked great. I mean, it was just really good. We saw a lot of good stuff. Nola had the good outing. His one good outing was in that series where he looked vintage Nola. You've been using that term with me when we've been texting a lot. We need vintage Nola. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten that except in that game. But yeah, they played great. It was, and I think you and I were talking that they looked like a team that was ready for the postseason. Everybody was chipping in. Everybody was pulling his weight across the board. They wanted to win that series. They just elevate their level of play at Citizens Bank Park.
When they're at home, they look like the best team in baseball. 100%. They look darn near unbeatable. And
we have the best home record. We have the best home record in baseball,
and rightfully so. Like they have that true home field advantage. They know the building. They know the angles. They feed off the energy from the crowd. It's a beautiful sight, and they need to keep it going. And that's why they need to lock in this at least second seed. At this point, it's probably going to be the second seed, so that way they have plenty of home games coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, and we'll get to that more about the how much home field means. But just kind of going chronologically, continuing. We swept the Mets. We took 2 out of 3 against Kansas City.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good series too. We kind of trailed off at the end in that game, the final game of that series, but we took 2 out of 3. And you and I have talked about it all season. The importance of just winning series, and that's what they've continued to do through most of the second half of the season. They've just found a way to win series through September. They've been the best team, and they really have been a dominant team in September. Which, when was the last time you could say that about the Phillies?
It's been forever.
They
They've
really
been
haven't.
notorious strugglers in September.
Certainly last year. I mean, they were limping across the finish line, and we saw how that went in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. They look different.
But yeah, no, they do. They look a lot different, and I think it's great. But so yeah, I mean, we clinched the postseason last Sunday. By a loss, by another, it was by other things
I mean,
happening, not by us
it's
winning actively, but
well, we still
it all mathematically works
right. We
out.
had to win games to get to that point.
Of course, and it's just the sentimentality of winning it on the field and clinching it, I think, is what people were talking about. But then, yeah, they got back to winning ball games, and they did rightfully, truly, because of their own actions, win the division when they were out in LA, I guess it was, and that was a good series. I have not been afraid of LA the last 2 years. The Phillies have looked very good against them last 2 seasons,
It's the starting pitching
including in
that's a
LA.
problem. We have a hard time with their starting pitching, but
Yeah,
we're doing some damage against their bullpen. Like Shohei looked really good, and Blake Snell looked really good.
Dave Roberts really made some decisions that helped us out. Like,
Yes,
a lot of their fans were booing him, rightfully. I would have too. I would have done the same thing to Thompson if it was the roles are reversed. You don't pull a guy out. I get you want to keep it on an innings count and all that, but it's like, if you're going to be leaning on Shohei in the playoffs to pitch, he needs to get his innings up. He needs to be able to show you that now. And even if you're going to let him go another inning, you could have done that. His pitch count wasn't that high. I think some of these guys, they coddle them too much. He is fully back now. You're not bringing him along slowly. If I'm the manager, it's like, all right, no, this is what we're paying this guy for, right? He's getting paid this obscene amount of money to pitch and to hit, and he's good at both of them. Let's get him to that. But regardless, not our problem. They did take him out, and we
right.
pounced on that
Yes,
bullpen, which was our MO. It's been our MO for a lot lately. In the Diamondback series, we struggled against some starting pitching and got to it. Certainly in LA, like you pointed out, that was the thing the whole series. And that's, I will get to that. That's, giving a little preview of some of my cons here, but, the team is staying close in games, right? And that is a formula for winning.
Right.
Even if you're not able to jump on the starting pitcher, if your starting pitcher can pitch well enough and you're able to just kind of start chipping hits together and drive up his pitch count a little bit to get to the bullpen, then you can win games. And then it's proven to work for them lately. So, but yeah, so LA, great series there. They really, that's a top-notch team, despite the fact that they're behind us in the standings. We know what they have. They've got a lot of talent, and we saw some of it. Mookie and some of those guys, when they get going, that Freddie Freeman, Shohei, that's a dangerous
It's
lineup.
very scary when you see Shohei just in the box. He's he means to intrude. He is a large man, and he can mash.
Yep. And Freddie Freeman is as professional a hitter as there is in Major League Baseball.
The one Brave I've ever wanted to be a Philly was Freddie Freeman.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
no, he's a genuinely good guy.
Yeah,
Nobody says a bad word about him.
No, why would we? He's a heck of a ball player. Always has been, and will be until he's done.
Yeah. So I mean, that it was a great series. We battled them. The bottom of their lineup was showing some pop too. So you see what a potential series could be with them. It's going to be tough. We are not sweeping them. We are not, going to knock them out like that. It's going to be tough no matter what. But we can beat them, and we know we can. And
Absolutely.
that's the important thing. We've gone toe to toe with the top teams in the National League this year, and had good showings. And I think that's the Brewers. The Brewers, we had one bad showing, then we had one good showing. LA, we've looked great in both series we've played them.
Yeah.
Yes, in the American League as well, we've done pretty well too. So you know, the recipe is there, right? It's going to come down to getting some guys healthy. Alec Bohm is back now, and he's actually looked pretty good. He's got some good hits.
Yes.
He's got a homer, some doubles. Waiting on Trea to get back, which it looks like he will be. He looks healthy. Rob spoke about it this week. He said he's running a little bit. He's fielding some grounders, so he'll be back for the postseason. We'll see what kind of condition he's in, but it sounds like he's looking good. And we'll get to this, but man, we need him back in the middle
Oh
of the
yes, we
infield.
do.
Did you ever think you would hear me saying that
No,
this year at one
no,
point?
not at all. We don't have a second
But
baseman,
we don't.
so
And Stott has done amazingly at shortstop. He's made some great, which we know he's a
did you
shortstop.
expect
But
different from him? Like,
no, I
he's
didn't. But I will say I like his throws across the diamond better than Trey's.
well,
They're
yeah.
more consistent. They're better throws. That he never made an errant throw from a. And sometimes Trey gets that's a bigger issue for him. Sometimes is his throws too. But the second base position was a nightmare because of Edmundo being injured. It just threw
Yeah.
everything out. And I do not ever want to see Weston Wilson in a
I
middle
don't.
infield position again. I don't want to see Otto Kemp in a middle infield position again. They're
We're,
not middle infielders.
I don't want to see Donovan Walton in the lineup. But
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever. He's,
yeah,
but,
right.
but, but yes, we'll see. We are getting guys healthy, and that's important. Yeah, I guess I mean we just kind of talked about it a little bit, but after taking 2 out of 3 from LA, and we have a decent. I think it's a 5. Is it 5 games or it was 6 going into today? I
Magic
think over
number's
them.
2 now. That's
Okay,
I don't know the number
so
of that, but they just need to win 2, or the Dodgers will lose 2. Any combination of
right,
that.
so it's looking good for us to secure
Yes.
at least the second seed,
Well, they're
which
gonna beat the Twins at least once, and the Marlins at least once. So
right,
we're
you would
fine.
hope at least, yeah.
We're fine.
So I think what I guess, but that leads us to the question, and we alluded to it, but how important is home field advantage? It is, and how important is the first seed? Like, is it important if we end up playing the Brewers in the NLCS? Let's say I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but is it important, or after you
Yes.
saw us play in Milwaukee, do you think, okay, yeah, we need, we'll have it for the NLDS, but then if we go to the NLCS and we have to play them in Milwaukee, we can still, overcome that.
Right. They've shown they can play against any of these teams, but having as many games as possible at home is
Yeah,
priority to me at this point. I mean, I really doubt that they're going to get the 1 seed right now, but two, and you're maximizing your chances of playing at home as much as possible now.
right.
But until you play the Brewers, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Should the Phillies,
But
win
then you
the,
don't know.
you never know.
Yeah, because if somebody gets hot and surprises them,
Right.
you want that home field against a hot
Right,
team.
right. And all signs pointing to all roads to the championship are going through Milwaukee. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been an excellent team for a couple months now. But as you mentioned, you never know. Like the Padres could do some damage against them. They have a heck of a lineup, and whoever else comes out, the Cubs could do something too. So
The
I
Cubs
feel
are
pretty.
yeah, I was looking at some of the standings, man. Some of these teams are getting hot right now. Like a lot of teams are playing well right now in the NL.
So I mean, if
Yeah.
you want to talk about teams that are hot right now, I'm switching leagues. The Cleveland Guardians. This might be
Yeah.
either the most epic comeback or the most tragic collapse in baseball in ages. With the Tigers and what they're doing, they were up 15 games. Now
Yeah.
they are 1 game up on the Guardians. I can't wait to see what happens there. Like they could technically, it's still possible. The Tigers might miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
This is kinda crazy.
Seattle passed them.
Yeah, and I mean the Guardians are third in the wild card, so if they overtake the Tigers, Tigers are dropping all the way down there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's
Pretty
going on
cool.
in Ohio right now, but you got Cleveland and Cincinnati really
Yeah, that's cool.
pushing now. Yeah, no, it's great.
All right, so I feel really good about where this team is and having as much home field as possible. So I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks.
Me too. Me too. I'm going actually on Saturday to the Twins
Nice.
game. So looking forward to that last regular season ticket game, and then we've got a divisional game lined up. We'll be going to game 2 of
Awesome.
the division series. So yeah, it's exciting. That's
Me
the
too.
only one we're going to though because we are we do not have the liquidity to make the NLCS or World Series work with
No,
the price
I,
tickets.
I
My
get it.
God,
No, I mean, just being there for one playoff game is pretty epic. I've been to
absolutely.
two playoff sports games. I went to Sixers game, not Sixers, Flyers game back
Me
in
too.
'97, and I
Yeah,
went to the playoff game for the Eagles this past year with against the Packers. So that was pretty cool. So I
yeah.
would love to get to a Phillies one. So
Well,
we'll see.
yeah.
Let's go. What else we got here?
All right, so let's jump to our typical segments. We got studs
Yeah.
and duds. This is a little
All
tough.
right.
When we do the 2 week spans, it's kind of tough. I'm curious to
Yeah.
hear
So
who do you have?
I'm splitting it actually. I
Okay.
think at least for studs. I mean the first set with the Mets and the Royals, I'm going to give it to Otto Kemp. I
It's a
mean
good pick.
he was filling in. You know, he was doing
Yeah.
exactly what he needed to do and coming up in big spots, and he was driving the ball out of the park. He was driving the
Yeah.
ball in the gaps. So, good job. I give credit where credit is due, and then the more recent is Harrison Bader. The guy
Yeah.
has been outstanding since we acquired him, and I'm
Hmm.
thrilled. And right now, you got to pick up his option. I really hope that he
No
would agree
question.
to it, and like he's going to be part of the outfield next year as long as mutual thoughts are the same.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are great. Those are great choices. Kemp has been back with a vengeance. You can tell he went
Yes.
back down and then came back up, and it was like he was back with like a point to prove. This is a little bit of an offshoot, but we won't get too far down, and we talk about this in the off season. But I he, I think I'm comfortable at this point letting Bohm walk, mostly for money reasons, but also because I don't want to play games with that attitude for another full contract. I just don't think it's worth it for what he's going
Right.
to be demanding money wise.
Fair.
I'm
Yeah.
fine in spring training with letting Otto Kemp and Aiden Miller compete for that third base spot. I don't know that Miller's going to be ready, but I think he should be given the chance to compete for it. Right? That's all I'm saying. He may
He's doing
need
some damage.
no, and he is. He may need a season at AAA. We'll see. We'll see what happens in spring training. But I think what you're looking at is he is your future third baseman based on what we see in front of us right now, right? Um,
Yeah.
and Kemp, though, I think has at least earned the right to compete for it. I'm not saying he should be given it, but I think he should because you're going to have to save money somewhere, right? And base may be one of those places where you're saving money, and you do something where the two of them are fighting it out. But anyway, we'll talk more about that when we get to the off season.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bader was mine. I know you had said that kind of you split it for first and second half of that span of time. Um, the guy since coming over to the Phillies is batting 329. He's got 51 hits. He had 70 all year with the Twins before he came to
Crazy.
us. 11 doubles since he's come here. 5 homers, and his on base is 339. The guy's doing a great job in the leadoff spot in Trea's absence. He's staying through the middle, man. Like he's just hitting the
I mean,
ball
he's
where
putting the
it's
ball in play.
pitched. He is, and he's a fast runner. He does whatever he has to do to get on base. We've talked about his defense in center field. He's a Gold Glove caliber. He's won a Gold Glove. He knows how to play center field, and he knows how to play center field at CBP, which is sometimes a steep learning curve, but he's figured it out very quickly. Um,
Said
I
it
love
numerous
watching.
times. He's a smart
Yeah,
outfielder. He
he
makes
is.
great reads.
Yes, he does. Absolutely. And I agree with you about the option. It's a no-brainer for the Phillies to at least exercise it. And hopefully, I mean, I would think he would be very interested in it because he's been passed around by teams a lot in his young career. I mean, he's not super young. He's 31, but he's not, he's been kind of bumped around. And part of that's because I guess he hasn't played at this level, right? Anywhere he's been for this solid amount of time. But I think he should be given the chance to come back and see what he can do. Because I think you're looking at a scenario where Nick is probably traded if they can. They're probably gonna have to eat the money, and we'll get into that later. But Bader has done nothing but prove that he is beyond worth what we gave up for him, and
Absolutely.
I would love to see them bring him back because I
So would I.
think it makes a ton
It
of
brings
sense. But
It's great energy. I mean, it's the type of fire that you need on the team. It's not like overzealous, obnoxious. You know,
No, no, it's
it's
excited to be there.
perfect.
Yes, it's he energizes. He and Brandon Marsh are the energy guys on that team. You know, they're a little younger than Schwarber and Harper and JT, so not by a lot, but they are younger. They have a little bit more energy, and that's just kind of their thing. And you need that. You need that combination of like guys that perform in the big moments, which you expect to be Harper and Schwarber, guys like that, and then guys like Marsh and Bader are providing the energy when it is the middle of summer and it's hot. You know, you need that kind of dynamic on a team.
Yeah,
I also want to give Walker Bueller his flowers. That
absolutely.
guy, I don't think anybody expected him to pitch as well as he did. I thought, okay, new venue, let's see how he does. He has pitched his first outing, his first start. He's only had one start. They did that,
Piggyback.
yeah, the piggyback kind of thing with
Walker Bueller.
Taiwan and him. Yeah, Walker. It was Walker Bueller. Yeah, that was anyway. First start, he had 5 innings, 5 hits, only 1 run. I love
Yeah,
that. Out of my fourth, fifth starter, whatever he is,
good for me.
I'll take that. Second outing was, like you said, Taiwan started the game, and then Bueller came in 3.2, 3 and 2/3 innings, only 2 hits, no runs, and now his ERA since starting with the Phillies in his 2 outings is
One.
1.04.
Yeah, that's great. What
I
can you?
think
What else can you
I
ask for?
I think if you're looking to get a right-hander, I'm not saying you have to because I still think our three lefties should lead the charge as far as starting games in the
Sure.
playoffs. But if there's a point where you need to start a righty, to me, right now it's Bueller. I'm not trusting Nola. I'm not
Oh no.
trusting Taiwan right now. Taiwan was really good early, but he has very steadily gone down the hill, and now he just doesn't look like he has it. And Nola, we've talked plenty on here about how he's just lost in the wilderness
Not the
right now.
same. Yeah.
But yeah, Walker Bueller, good job, man. Keep it
Yeah,
up
I
because
agree.
I love seeing that kind of stuff. So anyway, what do you have for duds?
You just mentioned it, so you kind of stole my thunder.
I
Uh,
probably did too. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of it can be both. Toss up between Nolan, Taiwan. I mean, the first inning from Taiwan Walker, the last several starts have been terrible. Has been
Yeah.
terrible, and
Yeah.
then Nola has again one bad inning, and it just ruins the entire start. The start against Arizona, one really bad inning, and there it goes. He can't
Yep.
get guys out. He probably should have been pulled before the inning started, and then like Walker just can't start games. I mean, if he anything outside of the first inning, he's better
Yeah.
outside the first inning.
Long
It
relief.
worries
He
me.
seemed to do
Yeah,
okay. He seemed to
he
do
did. He
okay.
did, but he's a starter. Like he has that mentality of a starter. I mean,
Right.
he's shown that he can be a long reliever, but that's not something we're going to need in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I mean, I have Nola too. I already kind of said that, but
yeah.
I mean,
So
just for what you get, that contract you gave him, what you've been expecting of him, especially with Wheeler out, he needs to be leagues better than he has been. The
mhm.
Mets game, I was encouraged, but I was skeptical because I was like, I need to see this
We've
for two
seen
or three more. And we haven't. The following two starts were awful. I mean, he didn't pitch awful the whole time, but like you said, one bad inning is still an awful start. Like that's not you don't. It's not like, oh, he pitched well 4 of the innings, but in the fifth inning he got blown up. So that's not
yeah.
bad. No, it's still bad. Like you can't
Yeah,
have
one
that
bad
big
inning
inning. And
ruins the season. It can ruin the
it,
season for you. Like,
yeah,
come
exactly.
on.
And if you have one inning where you give up a run or two and that's it, fine. But these 4, 5, 6 run innings, they can't happen. It's a bad outing. But I
Yeah,
mean, I'm looking at it, between Kansas City and Arizona, he gave up 13 hits, 10 runs, and his ERA on the season is at 6.46. Now it was at
terrible.
8 something, I think, at one point.
Still,
But law of averages says that's going to come down in just over this span of time,
it
probably.
hasn't come down as fast as it should.
No, we needed that down into the fours by now, and it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not even close.
So yeah, it's got to be Nola because of the expectation of what we need from him and what we're not getting. So Taiwan, yeah, I'm disappointed, but I I'm not surprised either necessarily. With Nola, it's like we need you to be way better. So um, I don't give him the ball in any situation in the playoffs right now. I just don't. I can't. I don't. I can't trust him unless
Yeah.
we're dominating a team, like we're up like 13-1 or something in the seventh inning. Then maybe I bring him in to rest some arms, but that's the only scenario. Or if we're getting destroyed, which I hope wouldn't happen. But you get my point. Like I'm not putting
Yeah.
him in a situation that matters. So anyway, that's my dud. Let's move on to pros and cons. What do you got for your pros?
The lineup has been really good. Um, you got Bader, you got Marsh, who's blossomed into an everyday player. He
He
needs to be in the
has.
lineup every day.
He does.
Bryson's coming around. The next man up mentality too.
Yep.
You got your Otto Kemps. Even Weston Wilson's provided some offense. I'm not mentioning his defense, but you know what kind of reminds me of is the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, guys get hurt, somebody steps up. That's that's what you need to do in professional sports. You need one guy, to be able to replace that next guy, and
Yeah.
and they're continuing to show that. Marchand even had a heck of a performance in L.A. Like that was huge, hitting a
Yeah.
home run in the late innings. I mean, it's the little guy. It's not your big stars that are stepping up. It's the little guys that are, and that's what's helping this team be the team that they are. It's like so. Being in a complete team offensively is has been a pro recently.
Right.
So
And
thrilled with that. Uh,
that's going to be key this year because I think it's something we haven't had in past years. And when our big guns go cold, nobody has picked them up, right? And I
yeah,
think this type of team could do that. You could have Marsh, you could have Bader, you could have Kemp or Stott, getting hits late in games to, bring some runs in. And give our big guys chances late where they wouldn't have in past seasons. And I'm not making excuses. Harper, Schwarber, JT, those guys need to step up. They gotta be able to perform under the bright lights. Um, but yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, that's the everybody contributing is what I have as a pro. I mean, everybody is stepping in and contributing.
yeah,
And it's just timely hitting, which is huge. I went to bed halfway through most of the Dodger games. I think I saw later into, unfortunately, the game that they lost. But
yeah,
the first two games, I went to sleep, and it was I think the one game we were down 4-0 the first game, if I'm not mistaken, and then 3 or 4-0. I don't remember, but I went to sleep and I woke up pleasantly surprised, and then. The second
yeah.
game, I
Yeah.
think it was a little closer, but that it was
Yeah,
just
the
really interesting. Yeah.
I was no, it was well, Brandon hit a home run, and then Kepler hit a home run. Marchand, I literally had tweeted, Brandon freaking Marsh, Max freaking Kepler, Raphael freaking Marchand. That was it was just glorious.
They kept battling. Yes, but
Yes,
they kept sticking with it. They didn't get down. They were in the fight and they kept swinging. They just kept trying to square the ball up. And that's all you can do. That's all you have to do. And think good things can happen. So yeah, it was great. And again, I'll just say also the pitching has been largely solid and consistent across the board. Starters, for the most part, especially our big guys, have continued to give us innings, keep us in games. Again, generally, and the bullpen's been pretty solid. I mean, if you had some blips here and there, but I feel good about our pitching staff. Really, I do. I think that's in pretty good shape. I say, I'm like a broken record. It's going to come down to the hitting, execute at the plate,
yeah,
and if they do that, I think they could take this
yeah.
thing the whole way. But anyway, what cons do we have?
What cons is who's filling that fourth starter spot? I know you mentioned Bueller. It's a concern
Possibility,
right now because it's not solidified.
right?
Because Nola hasn't been Nola, and Walker is on a downward spiral, and Bueller has had a really difficult season. And sure, he's had a couple good outings with us. What else
Hmm.
does he have left in the tank? And like that's my main. That's the con right now is where do we stand after our three lefties?
That's fair. And I think I'm looking to see Bueller one more time out here in the next week. If he can come out and give another five, six, whatever,
Yeah.
start with only one run
So
or no runs allowed, that'll be good enough for me, honestly, to say, okay, if we need a fourth starter, which
I,
we may
yeah,
not need in the divisional round, but if we do,
right.
then he might be that guy.
And
But I agree
I'd
with
like to
you. I'm
see
not
them.
100% yet.
Yeah, I'd like to see them flip it around and have Bueller and then Walker. Yeah, I mean, give see how much we can get out of Bueller. I mean,
That's what I want to see.
If Bueller can give us 5 innings and then he can get three out of Walker and then close it, like great.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, preferably you're in the lead, such a big lead that you can just have the two of them and call it a game
Yeah.
and save the bullpen arms. But
Yep. I
we'll
agree
see.
with that
What about
approach.
you there?
For me, it's the slow starting offense still. Like, yeah, they
Yeah,
were able to overcome it, and it made for some exciting games because they came alive late. But I'm very skeptical that that approach is going to work in the playoffs because the teams that you play in the playoffs, when they get ahead, a lot of times, especially the good ones, they put you away. The ones that are, the Brewers scare me with that. I mean, yes, we came back against them, especially in that, I think, the first game where but I don't like that approach. It's a dangerous way to play. They've got to do a better job of getting. I mean, you don't have. It's not reasonable to expect them to jump out to a lead in the first inning every single game, but they've got to start
right.
getting guys on base and putting pressure on teams earlier than they are. I need to see more base runners. I need to see more runs in the first 3 innings than I'm
It,
seeing.
it does seem that a couple times a week the team has a big inning, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's early in the game or late in the game. They're continuing to fight.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
they
I'm not giving them
so
that. Yeah,
right.
no.
I mean, but they may get off to that slow start, but they're coming back from that. So yes, the slow starts are an issue, and they need to buckle down a little bit on those. But they're still playing hard throughout the rest of the game.
Agreed. They're not
They're
quitting.
not giving up,
They're
and
not
that's been an
quitting.
issue. That's been an issue. We saw it in the playoffs last year. We saw
Yeah.
it kind of in the World Series against the Astros, and I think that they would just give up. But they're a different breed right now. They and it's showing that they continue to fight with a PH.
Exactly. They are, and it's been fun to watch. Little bit of a sour taste today, the way they
Yeah,
finished the series with Arizona. The defense was abysmal, especially in the infield. Um, Bohm just not get breaking on the ball. I mean, they were bunting the ball and he just wasn't breaking on it or not reading it, whatever it was. But they weren't errors; they were given infield hits. But you got to know what kind of hitter you have at the plate. You gotta be more aware of the situation and read it better. Bryce was really out of sorts. We talked about this too. Topper had planned to sit him today to give him some rest, and he called and insisted on playing. I
yeah,
I wish Topper had kind of stood by that and said, "Look, Bryce, we're getting ready for the playoffs here. I want to keep you
yeah.
fresh. We got a day off tomorrow. I want to give you those 2 days." He's not hitting very well right now. I mean, he's making contact. He's not striking out a ton. He actually got robbed a couple of times. So I think Bryce has hit a little bit of a stroke of bad luck right now. Like
Yeah,
he is
yeah,
kind of getting
he's
unlucky.
he's not striking out. He's making contact. I mean,
Right, which is good.
he had a home run against the Dodgers that was up at his eyes.
Yeah, no, and
He's
yeah, it's that nobody's struggling mightily or anything like that, but we need to go this next week is huge in that we need a reset to just be like, okay, we're back at home. We need to
yeah,
lock up this second seed by
right.
getting those 2 games as we talked about and just get our big guys going. Get them feeling good, loose, just swinging the bats, don't grip the bat too tight. Just let it go. Just you got the bottom of the lineup performing, right? It's not all on you guys as the big guns. Let the bottom of the lineup get on base and do their thing, extend innings, and then come up and look for your pitch and drive it. That's all you can do. But they just they were really bad today with the defense and they hit the ball
Yeah,
hard. I watched for
yeah,
half of it and then I kind of just stopped when it started getting out of hand. But they were hitting the ball hard. But Arizona's a great defensive team. They made some excellent plays. And So anyway, we'll see. We'll see how this week
Yeah,
goes. Got the Marlins, a familiar foe. They do kind of play us like a thorn in the side sometimes, even when
always.
they're not great. And this year they haven't had a great year, but they've played well of late. Actually, I think they had won 8 of the last 10 as of yesterday. I don't know, what they did
I
today,
mean,
but
win two games of these last six.
right,
That's all they need. I
yes,
mean, can't guarantee the Dodgers are going to win any of their last six, but you just need to win two. Yeah,
yeah.
lock up home field and go in feeling good.
Exactly, and get healthy. Get Trea back.
Yes, healthy.
I'd love to
Yes.
see. I think he's going to be back before the playoffs. I think they said he would maybe get some work in some games. Maybe by the Twin
Yeah.
series at the latest. But
Well,
um,
when he comes back, he's in that leadoff spot. I know Bader's done a great job replacing him,
and I think
but
that's the way to do it because Bader can slot in anywhere.
yeah,
Honestly,
I
and
mean
if you put
Bader
him down at the bottom, it just
is like
lengthens that
right.
lineup.
I mean, I Bader should be hitting five at this point. I mean, 5, 6. Like
Well,
you
I think it
flip flop him in
depends.
Marsh.
It's what I was going to say. I think it depends on who's on the mound, a lefty or a righty. But
Yeah.
if it's a lefty, Bader 5, Marsh 6, and then flip flop it if
Either,
it's the reverse. But
e- either
yeah,
way, they're both in the lineup.
yeah, agreed. So my other quick thing before we close out is so Nick Castellanos had that. There was a little bit more drama with him and Thompson yesterday, or it was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember now, but basically, he was asked by the media about what his communication is with Rob Thompson. He basically said, "I don't talk to him that much. We don't
Yeah.
communicate that much." And I thought Topper's response was perfect, where it's like, well, if Nick feels that way, I probably that's something I should
Talk.
address. Like he took ownership of it to the point that he could. Like he didn't say, "No, that's his problem." I mean, he took his part of it, and I think that's generous because I do think Nick is more of the problem in this scenario than Rob Thompson.
I
But
agree.
because other players don't seem to be having this problem with Rob, um, as everybody else seems to like playing for him. Uh, I don't like this whole thing. I don't like that Nick has now. This is the second instance of drama
At
that has come
least.
up. Yeah, that we know of, right? Um, Kepler, to his credit, worked through it, and he is bought in, and he's playing in this rotation, and he's happy to be doing so. It seems Nick
It's,
is going the other direction, and he's having a tough time understanding
to,
that he is not an all-star, top tier player anymore in this league. He is part of
I,
a rotation.
I think the issue is the media is trying to bait him into these
They're
responses,
stirring the
but the
pot.
prop but the problem is he's not doing anything to alleviate it. He's making it difficult. I mean, to say that he doesn't really talk to the
Yeah, that
manager
was
that
not the right
much.
answer.
That
Yeah.
that was a thorn in my side. I couldn't stand hearing that. I mean, yeah, he wants the team to win. I just think his choice of words was not very good. So yes, he was baited into it. He just did not respond the way he should have. I
He's
mean,
been in
you
the
can
league
even
long enough to
no,
know how to answer that question.
you could even say no comment. Like, hey, we're here with one common goal:
That's
win a
all he had
World
to say.
Series.
Just give the
Yeah,
general
I
talking
mean,
point. You didn't have to be. And he said, I was raised to be a different communication style. My dad and I have always been very blunt with each other. Oh, okay, great.
Topper's
But
not your dad.
like, he's not. But he is the manager of the team. And if you have a problem, go talk to the man. Like, I don't get this sense that Tom Topper would be like, get out of my office. Like he would listen to him. Like he might not do what he wants, but he would at least listen to him and take consideration of his concerns or whatever issues he's having. But if you're not talking to him, that's a problem too. So I, we'll see what happens this year. We've got the rest of the regular season here, another week here, and then um, we've got the
It will,
postseason. So we'll see
it'll
what
be a
happens.
it'll be an interesting conversation to have after this season's and postseason
Absolutely.
is over.
Absolutely.
What are the Phillies going to do? But I look forward to seeing what the playoffs are going to look like. I mean, I look forward to seeing what happens in the postseason, how it's all going to shake up, what the field is going to look like, so to speak. So you and I have discussed doing a bracket at the suggestion of my lovely wife.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yes. So I'd like to have a little challenge with you, and our listeners, if you guys can feel free to dive into this as well. We're going to do think of it like an NCAA bracket,
Nice.
but with playoff baseball.
Yeah.
We can see we can predict how many games each series is going to go, who moves on, and ultimately who wins it. And we all know who we hope.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I know who I'm putting in that.
I mean, maybe a bit biased, but Phillies to me.
There's some bias, but we have legitimate arguments to make for why they could win the whole thing, right?
The Phillies in recent weeks have looked like the best team in Major League Baseball.
They have.
There's the Philadelphia Phillies and everybody else. There is no team in the American League that scares me.
No, I think the National League is winning the World Series this year. Whoever comes out of the NL, I think, is taking it.
So the Brewers are going to be a tough customer. Should we get them? But we'll see where everything else goes. Our guys can lock in, and just hope they do so.
All right. Well, Jim, do you want to close us out and tell everyone
Sure
where they can
thing.
find us?
All right, guys, don't forget you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast. You can view us. You can look at our faces as well on Phillies Unfiltered Podcast. That's YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, and X/Twitter at Funfiltered. That's PHUNPHILTERED. And guess what? I did that without my notebook.
Look at you. End of the season. We've got it down.
Yes, finally.
Well, thank you. Good job, Jim. And thank you all for bearing with us. We try to do this every week, but things come up. I've been sick at times. Jim is, we've got kids. It's just, it gets tricky, but this is episode 28. We're very proud of that. We've done this very consistently. I think, we've found a way to bring content to you guys on a pretty consistent basis somehow. But we do have the odd thing in there where we have to take a break. So thank you for bearing with us on that.
You deserve it.
We will see you all next week, hopefully talking about the Phillies in the second, possibly the first seed if the Brewers have a tough week. So
we'll see what happens.
With all that said, Jim, you want to say it?
With hefty emphasis, go Phils!
Go Phils. See you guys.